we go to break, we come back, commentary is talking about SNL celebrating 40 years. I've been seeing that all over my Facebook feed today. And they're talking about
hey, guys, we get pop culture.
And they're talking about how Dean Ambrose was doing a mock tryout for an NBC Weekend Update news show. And he pretty much talks about how Bad News Barrett has been ducking Dean Ambrose's challenges, how, he beat him fair and square and he deserves a shot at the Intercontinental Championship, but he's going to beat Luke Harper tonight. He's going to beat another former Intercontinental Champion, and then after that he's going to get Bad News Barrett to sign this contract for Fastlane later in the show to get his one-on-one Intercontinental title match, and then he sends it back to a guy named Carlos, and we never found out who that was. And I think that's
obviously he's just sending it back to the Spanish announce booth, Carlos Cabrera.
So much better than JBL, and I don't even understand them.
Probably, yeah. I wish I could understand them, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, I'm surprised that there weren't more Brian Williams references in this point.
I know, right? I was waiting for it, dude. I was
hey, Michael, Dean's coming for Brian Williams' job.
I was like, Brian Williams reference imminent. Yeah. But we didn't get it, thankfully.
You know why? It's because WWE is actually on a channel owned by NBC, so they can't make fun of Brian Williams because that's a tisk.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're certainly right. But I mean, even with that partnership with NBC, I found it weird that they even commented on it at all with like Paul Heyman and whatnot.
They supported the guy.
Yeah, I guess in a heelish way, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is, what we did get was Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose, and I had fun with this match, Ashton. I mean, I thought it was a good back and forth between these two guys. Oh, what, you disagree?
Well, no, I mean, it was a decent match. I guess I just kind of, how do I put this? I enjoyed the match. Let me start out by saying that. Before I say anything else, I want to get across the point that I really did enjoy this match. I just don't understand why. Oh man, this is. You know what? Never mind. It's just one of those things where I'm starting to kind of feel like all WWE matches just feel the exact same, and
they're kind of running together.
They are so much, dude.
Let's
I think that's why I loved the Gauntlet match last week so much between Bryan and Reigns and all those tag teams, because it was a change up. It felt different.
Dude, I can get where you're coming from to a degree, and I don't want to hijack your point, so correct me if I'm not.
Well, and I think that's why I love NXT and Lucha too so much, is because Lucha has its own distinct style, and NXT is what WWE should be.
Absolutely. I think for me, like, I look at these guys, and I had fun with it, and I know, well, at least in the case of Luke Harper, I don't know why Dean isn't doing it now, but I don't know where he's going to be by this time next year, or even maybe sooner than that. But I'm just waiting for these guys to really be in the programs that I know they can really thrive, and Luke Harper to have the clinics I believe him to have, because these matches are, I mean, they're short. I mean, yes, they're fun, but I get what you mean, because it just seems like this match and other matches on a 3-hour program like this, they all seem to have these common elements, and they all kind of, like I said, run together.
You know what I think my problem is?
What do you think your problem is?
I haven't been able to get invested in what Dean Ambrose is doing since that finish to Hell in a Cell, because the WWE hasn't really given me reason to. He feuded with Bray Wyatt over nothing. Like, Bray Wyatt was picking on Dean because Dean's father was in prison. Like, what are you talking about? And now he's feuding with Bad News Barrett because he wants to get his name on a wall. Like, I just feel like Dean Ambrose as a performer is above all this crap.
I have to agree with you. And isn't it, let me just ask you something, Ash. I don't know if you'd remember or not, and if you don't, we'll just quickly abandon the point. But
and by the way, speaking of Dean Ambrose being above all this crap, the one thing that I will say negative about him, he needs to drop the middle rope rebound lariat. If he wants to do a rebound lariat, do it by coming off of the ropes normally, like you normally would. But the middle rope thing, and I'm starting to see more and more people complaining about it too. It's just so unbelievable. It's like it's getting to 619 levels of hard to believe that actually happens.
See, it's sad to hear you say that, because that's really one of my favorite moves in his repertoire.
Again, though, I want him to keep it. I just want him to do it coming off the ropes like a normal person, rather than dipping underneath the top rope grabbing the top rope with one of his hands, leaning up against the middle rope, and then coming forward.
From what I understand, and I could be wrong
He
about
took it
this.
from Nigel McGuinness, I know,
Yes.
but that doesn't make it a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know. But what I was getting ready to say was I don't even think Dean Ambrose has been all that satisfied himself with this work, because apparently I heard somewhere that he said on the Talk is Jericho podcast, and I think we listened to that episode, that he really hasn't been satisfied with the promo he's cut since he's been in WWE. So I don't know. Maybe even Dean feels like things aren't really coming together like he believes they should. And I think he's an immensely talented performer. I certainly know you do. But yeah, I even commented on this either on the last Raw Twit Wow or a few ones before, like when this angle was really getting underway. It just seems so weird, the motivation. Like, oh, I went to the headquarters, I saw this wall, and I got inspired. I don't know, that just seems so antithetical to what Dean Ambrose is about. That doesn't strike me as like a Dean Ambrose kind of aspiration. I know that's really weird to say, but you think when you really understand a character, you'd think about, like Bray Wyatt, for instance. Like, what he's pursuing right now seems totally in line with what we'd expect from him. With Dean, this just feels so artificial, because it is, because I don't think WWE is anything better for him right now. And it's a shame because, you get a guy like him and you get a guy like Luke Harper, who I also feel like could be doing better things, but that's just me. I think this guy is such an agile and talented big guy, and they go at it and they have a fun match for the time that they're given.
And by the way, if there are any two guys on your roster that you should try your hardest to keep away from each other, it's the two guys that wear the exact same attire.
Yeah, right?
Jeans and a wife beater. Both of them.
Yeah. But I mean, ultimately, in the end, there's not really much to say. I mean, he does get the clothesline, does Dean, the rebound lariat, and he gets the dirty deeds, and he does win. I mean, Harper got some nice offense. I think he got his super kick in at one point. He got his spinning sidewalk slam, the first try on the rebound lariat, which I thought was a cool spot. So yeah, they did some cool stuff here, but ultimately Dean gets the win, and he does head to the back though without calling out Barrett, which I thought was interesting. So it showed me that this angle was going to have more developments later, which I liked. So there was that. And then they hype up the fact that Triple H is going to respond to Sting. Dusty Rhodes is scheduled to appear apparently, so that should be interesting, and all that other stuff. And we come back from break and we see Kane is talking to Triple H backstage. Big Show walks in and Kane asks what he's doing here. Big Show asks the same of Kane. They argue back and forth over what happened during Tag Team Turmoil. I don't think I explicitly said what happened. Big Show ended up turning on Kane because they were really having a communication breakdown. He KO punched him.
See, I hate the use of that term. He didn't turn on him. He just got fed up with his crap and knocked him out.
I stand corrected. He got fed up with his crap and he knocked him out.
Well, I'm not trying to correct you, but this is like you were just kind of like that little tiny feather that falls onto a stack of cards and the whole stack comes flying down. Because on Tuesday, if you looked at SmackDown spoilers, which John and I, since we don't review SmackDown anymore, we really don't give a crap, so we just check out the spoilers every now and then. Every website was saying Big Show turned face. Like, screw off, dirt sheets. He didn't turn any more face than Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan have turned heel.
Though, it is... Well, I shouldn't say interesting. I never want to use Big Show and interesting in the same sentence.
Whoa. Dude, Big Show has been genuinely interesting and entertaining on this run.
Yeah. I can dig it, man. Like, he's made me laugh during his matches. Like, I've been telling you in conversations, he's filling the void that Mark Henry left with his 5 millionth injury, and that's really not meant to be a pot shot at you, Mark, but come on, man. And so, they're arguing about Tag Team Turmoil. Yes?
Big boy.
Yeah, I know. Triple H asks if they're 6 years old. I'm surprised one of them didn't reply 6.5. He says this has been going on since the Royal Rumble, and it's time to end it. Kane says they had a plan at the Rumble and Show was too stupid to stick to it. They argue more. At one point, Big Show tries throwing May 19th in Kane's face, but he says May 13th. So
yeah, what an idiot.
And then Triple H asks if they realize how they look, and then Big Show says not as bad as you did, on your butt Monday night with Sting. And, I went, oh, snap, because now Big Show's getting testy with everybody. And, he says he will take care of Sting tonight, and he's looking for solutions in their matches with, Kane has a match with Reigns, Big Show has a match with Bryan. He says he's looking for solutions, not excuses. and then Show and Kane walk off. So Show's getting a bit mouthier. I dig it, though. I dig it. Large and in charge, I guess, is where Big Show's going with this.
All about that ironclad contract.
Yeah, right. Ironclad contract. Bury the boss. So we go from that to a backstage segment with Bray Wyatt. He says, what happened
Can we
to
just
you?
stop right now? Because he had 3 of these. Do you just want to talk about all 3 of them rather than talking about one now and then the other later and then the other later?
I mean, we might as well, right?
Yeah, because
I
don't want to take 3 separate pauses to discuss what was basically one long vignette spread out through 3 different places.
So we begin with the nail. He's holding a nail. He's kind of twirling a nail in his hand. He says, what happened to you was a tragedy. And he pretty much says, I used to fear you, but now that fear has been replaced with venomous, pity, and I guess maybe even to a degree hatred. And he says, he goes on, and he says, it's coming. And then, he continues, because then his next promo is with a hammer. So we got a nail and a hammer. And then we see that he says that he may have built this world, but Wyatt is going to tear it down. And he says that I'm waiting for you. So, we get that. And then we get the coffin. So the hammer, the nail, and the coffin. Do you get it, guys? He's going to put the final nail in the coffin. Oh, brilliance. So then we get the coffin promo. And I'm trying to remember what he said.
I don't know where you got that. I didn't get that at all.
I didn't get that at all. I love how slowly they take people through the process.
I saw this as an analogy for humanity's chaos.
Oh, God, you're so brilliant. But he yells for the Undertaker to find him. Pretty much says that I think he's just going to lay it to rest and finish it. And he says, hey, if you don't find me, I'll find you. I'm wondering here, let me ask you just point blank, Ashton. Do you think we're going to get like a definitive confirmation? I mean, we already can say that we've gotten it, right? But I'm saying from the Undertaker side at Fastlane, or do you think
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't even know. Because here's my thing. I don't think the WWE even knows if Undertaker's going to be working WrestleMania this year.
Right.
And every report that I've seen, now granted, every report that I saw at this point over the last 3 or 4 years has said this, but every report that I've seen is that Undertaker looks like absolute crap. He can barely walk. He's in horrible shape, and he would be lucky to be able to make it to the ring, much less actually work a match in one.
Right.
So I think that they're hoping that Taker is good to go to WrestleMania to face Bray, but I think that the backup plan might be Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, because they kind of can fit all the stuff he's saying about Taker into Orton.
I could see that. He could just go on about how Randy Orton used to be this viper, this predator, but ever since he fell victim to the Authority and he allowed himself to be beaten so easily by their assault that the venom's been taken out of him, and he no longer has any reason to fear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could work.
It's very weak, but from an improvisational standpoint, that's about the only direction they could go if Taker can't go.
I do agree with you there, just on all counts. It is a weak substitution, but I think if you really put your back into it, you can get us to care.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, you and I have been hankering for Orton lately in any form, so I think I'd take it. I'd be like, let's do it. But yeah, very, very good work from Bray. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It feels so good to get invested in him again, because, I mean, like you said with Ambrose earlier with this whole IC title, Wall of Champions kind of thing, there was a while that I just think Bray lost all of his momentum, and I still always loved him, but I was like, but it's great to see him really upping his game and doing this.
Isn't it so funny, though, that I had the foresight to be like, man, this Wyatt Ambrose feud's not going to be good for either one of them.
Yeah, definitely.
It ended up being worse for Ambrose than Bray, but still, just nobody benefited from that feud at all.
No, not at all.